You may think that Mercedes goes a little bit nutty with their AMG designations, like, no, they kind of give one to everybody. And I'm going to agree that on some levels, I think some of them are maybe not so deserving. But today, I have the Mercedes-AMG C63 SE Performance. Does this one deserve that badge? Let's find out. This four-door C-Class has a turbocharged four-cylinder engine in it. Yes, and before you all go and freak out about oh my God, four-cylinder AMG, this is the highest powered four-cylinder engine that you can buy. It gets 469 horsepower and it is attached to an electric motor that has Formula One derived battery technology in it. That entire setup gets a combined 671 horsepower, 752 pound-feet of torque on a C-Class. Come on!
As you can imagine, this thing is a little bullet. We're talking 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. That is not slouchy.
But there is more to this C-Class than just horsepower, which makes it explode off the line, and that is where the electric motor really steps up.
As it's directly attached to the rear axle, all that instant torque gets straight to the rear wheels and they get moving fast, so it also acts as a torque filler. So the C63 SE doesn't suffer from turbo lag. If you can feel it, well, then you should probably get a job as one of those machines that rate earthquakes, because that means you are super sensitive.
So yes, there is that full 752 pound-feet of torque, but there is also an electronic limited slip differential on this car, as well as Mercedes' 4MATIC Plus, which is their all-wheel drive system, but this is the advanced version of their all-wheel drive system that will put power wherever you need it, whenever you need it.
You also get a drift mode, which on the streets of Malibu, I did not attempt. You do get excellent grip around corners as well as from a dead stop.
There is also a 2-speed transfer case on the rear axle, and that is going to make sure that you are getting the exact right amount of power at exactly the time that you need it.
Even so, I felt as though it shifted well. The shifts are certainly quick, but having the ability to downshift with paddles was really good, because there were a couple of times when I felt the car thinking a bit longer about which gear to get into than I'd expect before it executed.
Around turns, you are going to feel absolutely glued to the road.
This souped-up C-Class also comes with rear-wheel steering. That's speed dependent. It gets up to 2.5 degrees, up to 62 miles an hour, and above 62 miles an hour, you get a 0.7 degree of turn-in, which does have a hand in making the car feel stable at high speeds. But I'm not 100% sure that I'm a fan. I could literally feel the rear wheels steering, and that definitely made the corners feel easier. But when there was some camber in the road, I almost had a gyroscope feeling in the car as I was turning, as if it was rotating on an up and down axis, as well as sort of a side to side axis. And I wasn't really crazy about how that felt. It was an unusual sensation for sure.
There are 8 different drive modes. Yes, 8. Okay, we're gonna see if I can remember them. There's electric, there is an EV reserve mode, there's comfort, there's sport plus, there's race, there's individual, and there is slippery. That's 8.
I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I want to mention ones that include the battery stuff, mostly about how the engine and motor work together. So you do have 8 miles of pure EV range, and yes, this is a plug-in hybrid, but when the car transferred between electric motor and engine, really it was very seamless. You don't feel that at all. You can also use the pure EV mode up to 81 miles an hour.
When it comes to Sport Plus and Race, you're going to get 80% max boost, and that really is going to change the entire dynamic of this car. All of the other systems that it affects, throttle response, torque vectoring, suspension settings, all of those things are just going to be at peak max performance. Mercedes is pumping sound into the cabin, but the sound is actually being recorded right at the exhaust, and that is the sound that is being pumped in here. So it's not an artificial sound, it's just a little bit more amplified than you would normally get inside this rather serene, otherwise Mercedes cabin.
They do offer 4 levels of battery regen. At 0, it feels like a normal ICE vehicle. You're looking at very little rolling resistance.
So level 1 is going to be kind of a standard setting. I can't actually use those right now to sort of see what the regen is because my battery is at full capacity. So I'm already recharged up. It will not let me regen. But they do say that when you are at level 3, which is the max, you can get very close to one pedal driving, though it is not a complete one pedal driving experience.
For race mode, you're automatically set at level 1, which kind of surprises me that it's not at 0. You don't really get to control the braking exactly how you want it, but you can certainly set it there. But getting it into a regen mode is going to be a little bit tricky because that 8 miles gets replenished very quickly.
AMG's ride control is what is underpinning all of this and making the adjustments when it comes to the suspension. It is steel sprung, but it does have adaptive dampers. And I will say this, that I do feel very dramatic differences between comfort mode, which is a little bit floaty. It's very nice, very comfortable for everyday driving. And then you get into sport or sport plus, and each one of those ratchets up the firmness just a little bit more. I'm in sport plus right now. It's not overly done, I don't think, but very, very palatable and very sporty.
The AMG C63 SE Performance is longer and wider than your standard C-Class. It gets fender flares, active aero in the hood and up front in the grille, and the spoiler on the deck lid, well, Mercedes-AMG are not calling that a spoiler, but they call it an airflow breakaway.
So stopping all of this power and action are composite brakes. I actually really appreciate how the pedal feels. It's not super grabby up at the top, so you're not really feeling like, oh, I'm driving a sports car.
I will say that when you're really whipping it around canyon roads, you can feel how boosted they are. So there is not much of a natural brake feel here, which is pretty important when you're driving quickly. So I would like to have a little bit more information with what's going on with my tires when I'm using the brakes, and that is just not available here.
I'm not going to go fully into the whole interior of this car or the way that it looks. This really is just about the performance. But if you want to see a full review of the new Mercedes-Benz C-Class, then check out Mike Danger's video. We'll put a link there so you can watch it all. I will say though, I'm going to have my normal gripe about the UX system. It's overly layered. It's not super quick. These haptic buttons are difficult for you to use. You guys know my feelings if you've watched any of our other videos about Mercedes-Benz. And if you do want to catch all of our stuff, well then you need to subscribe to the Kelley Blue Book YouTube channel. If you are in the market for a new car, either this one or something else, click on the link above. Kelley Blue Book can help you find a fair purchase price on one. No, we cannot help and revalue your old beater Tacoma, but we can help you with a ton of other stuff.
Pricing on the C63 SE Performance starts at $85,050, including destination, and it's already in dealerships, so you can go get one right now.
Look, sedans may not be all the rage right now, but when it comes to Mercedes-AMG and the kind of performance and goodies that they put into this thing, I'm gonna say, holy. It's got wow power, all in the kind of amazing understatedness of the C-Class. You guys, the Mercedes-AMG C63 SE Performance, formidable.